But is that the only thing? Because I think, how do you teach them
Yeah,
how to make these videos? Because in most cases, if you make videos when they are on the ball, but the
exactly.
most important thing with these people is off the ball
Yeah,
movements as well.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
throughout the game.
No, that's a good question, and you won't get a good contract based off of one video clip.
Yeah,
That's the
and
fact.
where you are only
Where it's just
advantageous. Yeah.
exactly, that's just the fact. But the reason why they do that is for them to see, I can say, a sample. They want to see your decision making. They want to see your pace. Of course, they are going to invite you for independent assessments on the other side. So you won't get, let's say, a 4-year contract because of a video you did 8 months ago. It's not the case. But they just want to see, this is the individual that we're dealing with. I think if we assess him this side, it's going to be something. You understand? Of course, based off of the word that I've put in for that player. So basically, it's just to give them an idea of what you're dealing with and the kind of deal that you have on the table.
All right, we're still on the on tournaments. You also
Yes.
are going to include the uh, some other parts of people,
Yeah, the disabled.
the
Yes.
disabled.
Yes.
How do you? How are you going to inculcate this? How are you going to move this through?
Okay. All right. So I can say that has also been a response to what we are doing, because there are times where we travel into these communities just to scout for players and watch some games. You find that someone is deaf but he's able to play football. You get, there are people that don't have an opportunity to go to school. They've got, maybe this one doesn't have a proper arm, but he's so passionate about the sport. So I did an inquiry. I talked to some of the coaches. I said, is it a common issue where we have a lot of players with disabilities loving the sport? And most of them said yes. And then they actually sent me of one player, I've forgotten his name, but he doesn't have arms, but he plays for Red Arrows.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when I went into Onza as well, the Nzasu president, he's an albino. He said, we actually have a lot of albinos that are passionate about the sport. So he said, is that so? So I managed to interact with the actual individuals as well. And one thing I realized is that there's some stigmatization that happens towards them. Because maybe they don't feel they can play a full 90 minutes game. But for them, they are very confident. So we said, you know what, as a way of providing mentoring for these people and also making them feel at home, because they're equally human beings. And also, in addition, there's a German striker by the name of Jan Dust. He's got a condition called autism.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on my radar for the past 3 years now. He's got quite a large following in the European market there. So he said, you know what, I think you're the only person who has actually given me attention. Here in Europe, they don't give me an opportunity to play because they don't feel as if I'm capable. But this guy has got, like, the passion speaks for itself. So I said, you know what, I'll invite you to Zambia. There's a tournament that I'm going to host, but instead of just making it about you, let me also include these other people, these other guys with disabilities, so that they also feel as if they're part of something big.
All right. So what are some of the institutions that you're working with? Because this sounds big, inclusiveness,